So how does your process help you to do better at that, at choosing the jockey or choosing the horse? How did you start? Why? Why did you start thinking about this, and how did you start thinking about it?
Yeah. So I've always been interested in health and kind of a bit of a self-experimenter, a tinkerer with my own health and trying, like, there's nothing too weird that I wouldn't try out for a while to see, like, oh, do I feel better or worse from that?
Very Tim
And that
Ferriss
is
of you.
Well, yeah, I don't publicize what I'm doing. It's just for my own amusement. But yeah, so that sort of like self-experimentation within it has sort of a growth mindset where you feel like I can do better than I did before. And if I just try out some things and I'm always experimenting and I record what I'm doing so that I can see the change over time, you're always hoping to get a little bit better. And so I view the investment process the exact same way as I have the tinkering with health. I'm looking for every little experiment that I can try to see, does this feel like it's giving me a better chance of getting the results that I'm looking for by focusing on this process and looking for ways to improve it. So one sort of naturally carried over into the other.
You just like improving things.
I do like improving things. It's true.
So as you were thinking about improving your process, what kind of framework did you put on it? I think of mine as a practice. I know a number of investors I've talked to have directly told me that they don't relate to that at all. How do you, which is fine, we've all got our own things. For me, it really works to think about it as a practice. How do you think about it? What kind of framework do you use to think about the process that you put together?
I'm more in your camp that I think of it as a process, and even to borrow some, like, I believe it's Buddhism has this, but it's like chop wood and carry water. Like just really focusing on that task, and doing a really good job with each task, and not taking shortcuts, because it's really easy in the investment process to, even knowing what you're supposed to do, skim over that part and sort of jump ahead. The same thing with health. Like we kind of know what the right things to do are already. It's like, kind of eat real food, move your body, get enough sleep, get some sunshine and some nature, right? Like none of these things are there's no like hidden secret here. And I don't think there's any hidden secret in the investment process either. It's just a matter of committing to do it and putting in the effort to continuously do it and getting a little bit better. So I kind of divide the process up into 4 quadrants, which I showed in that article that you published for me.
Yeah, Jake, so you have, just for everybody, Jake wrote a fantastic article that I put on my InvestED Practice newsletter, the premium newsletter. So if you guys want to check that out, you can find it at newsletter.danielletown.com. So yes, thank you for writing that, Jake, because it was so good. And as I said to you, I've been reading it over and over, trying to pick every piece out of it that I can, because it may be obvious to you, and I'm glad that it is, but it is not obvious to me. And I'm trying to learn every little way that I can also get better. So you see it as hygiene. Why do you see it as hygiene?
Let me wrap up the idea on the like quadrants real quick. So, I look at it as there's things that are internal to me, like inside my body, and then there are things that are external to that. And so those are like 2 poles of the axes. And then on the other side, I have things that are more mental and then things that are more physical. So, internal and physical would be health. Like that's what's happening inside of my body. External and physical is my environment, right? Like controlling for, the right environment to create a good process. Mental and external is like, how much signal versus noise am I having to process? Like what kind of information am I using? And then the last one, like the internal and the mental, is, working on sharpening the saw and having, building my mental models and really like, the right headspace. That's what I found as a helpful way to kind of divide up and think about the different parameters of optimizing this.
you distinguish between internal and mental and physical?
Well,
to me,
internal.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just naturally I would put internal as mental and physical. So why separate those into sort of two different categories?
Well, internal for me and mental, it was like the right checklists, the when do I work on things? That's another big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then external and mental is, what is the rest of the world bombarding me with? Like, am I spending a bunch of time on Twitter and filling my head with everyone else's thoughts? Or am I finding my own quiet solitude place where those everyone else's thoughts can kind of quiet down and I can hear my own thoughts finally? So that's how I divide it up.
That's so interesting. Yeah. So it really is the two different ways to think about the information that's either going out or in. So, okay. So let's talk about the hygiene. What led to thinking about it in a way as hygiene?
Yeah. I used hygiene because it's kind of a term that we're all familiar with. And, it's habits and routines and mindsets that hopefully produce some outcome that you're looking for. So think about like dental hygiene. Like we all sort of know that one. You're supposed to brush your teeth, floss, maybe use a water pick, eat less sugar, go to like wear a mouth guard if you're doing physical contact sports. Like we know all of these things. And what you're trying to do is create an environment where teeth can be healthy, right? Like you can't just say, I want healthy teeth. You have to do all of these things that will then produce the environment that would encourage healthy teeth. It's the same thing with the investment process. Like, what are all the mindsets and habits? Like, what's the equivalent of flossing and brushing my teeth that will eventually, hopefully, lead to the results that I'm looking for. Just going back to our sports kind of analogy of we don't get to control much of this. The only things we can control are our process. So we have to really focus our efforts there.
You divide so we talked about the quadrant, external and internal, physical and mental. And you divide these areas into 4, obviously. And you say internal plus physical equals health. Can you talk a little bit more about that? I want to go through the different quadrants. So health is the first one. How do you focus on your health in a way that specifically supports investing hygiene?
Well, I am very cognizant of when I make decisions, especially big decisions, like, do I want to buy or sell this company? How am I physically feeling? Because our physical, like the chemicals that are going on in our brains are these like lenses that we interpret the world through. And, depending on if something is out of balance for whatever reason, you had a bad night's sleep, a million different reasons that things can be a little off, it can dramatically affect how you feel about something and how you process information.
Absolutely.
So being aware of that is I think hugely important and dramatically underappreciated. So I will not make an investment decision, unless I feel like I'm in a peak state mentally. Right? If there's any doubt about, my headspace, it can wait till tomorrow, or I can go for a walk or take a nap or something that's going to get me to where I need to be mentally to think that I have a good shot at this.
You guys, if you enjoyed this video and you feel it was valuable in teaching you more about how to invest, hit the like button and please share the video with your friends. And if you want more investing content, subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the button on the screen. We got a free gift for you. Thanks again for watching.